My beloved child, pause for a moment. Something quiet, almost invisible, has already begun shifting around you, and you might have felt it without fully understanding why. Not in a loud or dramatic way, but in those subtle pauses between thoughts, in that strange feeling that something unspoken is waiting to be noticed. Don't rush past this feeling, because what is unfolding right now carries a meaning that touches closer to your heart than you realize. There is a connection in your life that has always felt familiar, almost like a story that started long before you could remember, and yet, recently, something about it has begun to feel different. Not broken, not lost, just changed. And the more you try to ignore it, the more it quietly returns, asking you to look again, asking you to see what you may have missed before. Listen closely, because this is where the first layer begins to open. There has been a truth, not hidden in darkness, not buried with intention, but simply resting beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to rise. And that moment is now beginning to form. Not all at once, not in a way that overwhelms you, but slowly, gently, as if life itself is preparing you to understand something deeper. You may have noticed small things, a shift in tone, a pause that lasted a little longer than usual, a look that carried more meaning than words could explain. These are not random. They are pieces of a larger picture, one that is still coming together. And here's the part that many overlook. The truth doesn't always arrive with noise. Sometimes, it arrives quietly, through patterns, through feelings, through moments that don't quite make sense until you look back and realize, they were leading you here all along. Stay with this, don't skip ahead, because what you're about to understand is not meant to be rushed. There is someone connected to you, someone whose presence has shaped parts of your journey in ways you may not have fully recognized yet. And recently, something within them has been shifting too, not in a way that creates distance, but in a way that begins to reveal something real, something that has been forming over time. You might be wondering, why now? Why does this realization feel so close, yet still just out of reach? Because timing plays a role that most people underestimate. Not everything is meant to be understood immediately. Some truths need space, they need growth, they need the right moment when your perspective is ready to receive them without confusion. And you, right now, are closer to that moment than you've ever been before. Take a breath, and notice this. There has been a subtle pull, something guiding your attention back toward this connection again and again. Even when you try to focus elsewhere, it returns. Not to distract you, but to gently remind you that something important is waiting to be seen. And the truth is, you are not being asked to judge, or to react, or to assume anything. You are simply being invited to observe, to feel, to understand. Because when you observe without rushing, clarity begins to reveal itself naturally. Think about the recent moments you've experienced, the conversations that felt slightly different, the silence that carried more meaning than words, the feeling that something was about to be said, but wasn't. These are not coincidences. They are signals, not of something negative, but of something real, something honest, something that is slowly finding its way to the surface. You don't need to force anything. In fact, the more you allow things to unfold naturally, the clearer everything becomes. And here's something even deeper. Sometimes, when a truth begins to rise, it doesn't just reveal something about the other person, it reveals something about you as well. About your awareness, your growth, your ability to see beyond the surface and understand what truly matters. You might feel a sense of curiosity building right now, a quiet question forming in your mind. What is it that I'm about to see? Stay a little longer, because you're closer than you think. There is a reason why your attention has been drawn here today, why this moment feels different from all the others. It's not random. It's not accidental. It's a part of a sequence, a gentle unfolding, where each piece arrives exactly when it needs to, and the next piece is already beginning to appear. You may not see it fully yet, but you can feel it. That subtle awareness, that quiet knowing, that something is shifting, not outside of you, but within your understanding. Let this sink in. Not everything that is hidden is meant to stay hidden. Some things are simply waiting for the right eyes to notice them, the right heart to understand them, the right moment to reveal them. And this is that moment beginning to take shape. There is no need to fear what you don't yet fully understand, because what is coming forward is not here to harm, not here to create distance, but to bring clarity, to bring truth, to bring a deeper awareness that will make everything feel more aligned than before. You are not losing anything, you are gaining perspective. And perspective changes everything. Pause again, just for a second. Think about how often we move through life without truly seeing what's right in front of us. Not because we don't care, but because we haven't been given the right moment to notice. This is that moment. Something important is waiting for you, not at the end of a long journey, but right here, in this unfolding awareness. And as you begin to see it, piece by piece, you'll realize that nothing was ever random. Every feeling, every pause, every subtle shift, was guiding you toward this understanding. You might feel a sense of calm building now, even though you don't yet have all the answers. That calm is not accidental. It's a sign that you are ready to see what has been forming quietly, ready to understand what has been waiting patiently, ready to receive something that was always meant for your awareness, just at the right time. And here's where it deepens. The truth that is coming to light is not loud, not dramatic, not overwhelming. It's simple, clear, and once you see it, it will feel like something you always knew, but never fully acknowledged until now. This is why it's unfolding slowly, because the most meaningful realizations don't arrive all at once. They arrive, layer by layer, moment by moment, until one day, everything simply makes sense. And that moment is closer than you think. You don't need to search for it. You don't need to force it. Just stay present, stay aware, stay open. Because what is about to reveal itself next will connect everything in a way you didn't expect. And when it does, you'll understand why this moment felt so different from the beginning. Wait, just a little longer. Something shifted the moment you reached here, not outside, but within your awareness, as if a quiet door opened without sound, and now you're standing just at the edge of understanding something that has always been near you, yet never fully seen. And the strange part is, you didn't force this, you didn't chase it, it simply found its way to you. Look carefully at this feeling, don't rush past it. There has been a pattern forming, small, almost unnoticeable at first, but consistent. A certain energy in the way things have been unfolding, a rhythm that feels familiar, yet slightly altered, like a melody you've heard before, but now you're hearing a deeper layer within it. And right at the center of this pattern is someone you already know well. But knowing someone, and truly seeing them, are not always the same. Pause here. When was the last time you felt that something was being held back? Not intentionally, not with any harmful intent, but simply because the right moment had not arrived yet? That quiet sense that there's more beneath the surface, more behind the words, more behind the silence. That feeling wasn't your imagination. It was your awareness beginning to notice what your mind hadn't yet understood. Stay with this, because this is where everything starts to connect. There has been a shift within your sister, not sudden, not dramatic, but gradual. The kind of shift that happens when someone begins to see something clearly within themselves, something they may not have been ready to express before. And when that kind of realization begins, it doesn't immediately come out in words. It shows up in moments, in pauses, in the way someone looks at you, then looks away, in the way conversations change direction, just before reaching something deeper. You may have noticed these things, or maybe you felt them without fully recognizing them. Either way, they were there. And now, they are beginning to come into focus. Don't skip this part, because what you're about to understand is subtle, but powerful. This is not about something being wrong. This is about something becoming clear. There is a difference. And that difference changes how everything feels. Take a breath, and think about this. Sometimes, people carry thoughts or emotions for a long time before they're ready to share them. Not because they want to hide anything, but because they're still trying to understand it themselves. And during that time, their actions may seem slightly different, their energy may feel unfamiliar, their presence may carry a quiet distance that wasn't there before. But that distance is not separation. It's preparation. Preparation for a moment when everything finally makes sense, when what was unspoken begins to take form, when what was felt begins to be understood. And that moment is approaching. You might be wondering now, what exactly is coming to light? Stay a little longer, because the answer isn't a single sentence. It's something you're already beginning to feel. There has been something meaningful, something real, quietly growing beneath the surface of your connection. Not something sudden, not something new, but something that has been developing over time, unnoticed, until now. And as it begins to rise, it brings with it a kind of clarity that doesn't confuse, it settles, it aligns, it gently places everything into perspective. But here's the part that most people miss. When truth begins to reveal itself, it doesn't always arrive through direct words. Sometimes, it shows itself through understanding, through a sudden realization, where everything clicks without explanation. You're moving toward that realization. Right now, let that sink in. There is nothing you need to do, no action required, no reaction needed. Just awareness, just presence. Just allowing yourself to see without rushing to interpret. Because when you see clearly, everything speaks for itself. Think back, not too far, just enough to notice the small changes, the moments that felt slightly different, the interactions that carried a deeper meaning, even if you couldn't explain why at the time. Those moments were not random, they were leading you here. And now, you're beginning to understand why. Stay with this feeling. There is a reason why this realization is unfolding slowly, why it's not being revealed all at once. Because the depth of it requires you to feel it, not just hear it. To experience it, not just think about it. And as you allow yourself to feel it, something inside you begins to align. A quiet clarity. A gentle understanding, a sense that everything is exactly where it needs to be, even if you don't yet see the full picture. And that's okay, because the full picture is still forming. Here's something important. What is coming to light is not meant to create confusion or distance. It's meant to bring understanding, to remove the uncertainty, to replace the questions with clarity, to allow both of you to see each other in a way that feels more real, more honest, more aligned. But that kind of clarity requires patience. Not waiting in frustration, but allowing in trust. Because what is unfolding is doing so at the perfect pace. You might feel a shift in your perspective now, a subtle change in how you're seeing things, even if you can't fully explain it yet. That shift is the beginning of clarity, and it's only going to deepen from here. Stay till the end, because something important is waiting for you, something that will connect all of this in a way that feels both surprising and completely natural at the same time. There is one more layer, just beneath this. A layer that will bring everything together, that will help you understand not just what is coming to light, but why it matters, and what it means for you moving forward. You're closer than you think. Just a little more patience. Because in the next moment, something quiet, yet undeniable, is about to make everything clear. There's a moment, right before everything becomes clear, where the mind goes quiet, not because there's nothing happening, but because something deeper is preparing to be understood. And if you're still here, still feeling this pull, then you've already stepped into that moment. Don't rush it, just stay here. Because what's coming forward now isn't loud, it doesn't demand attention, it simply reveals itself to those who are ready to see without resistance. Think about this. There have been times recently when something felt almost different in the air between you and your sister. Not distant, not disconnected, but slightly altered, like a layer has shifted, even if nothing obvious was said. You might have brushed it off at first, telling yourself it's nothing, just a passing feeling. But it stayed, and that's because it wasn't random. It was the beginning of something being understood, not through words, but through awareness. Pause for a second. What if the truth that's coming to light is not something shocking, not something that breaks anything, but something that explains everything? Feel that, because that's where this is leading. There has been something within your sister, a realization, quiet, personal, and deeply internal, that has been forming over time. Not something she could easily express, not something she fully understood at the beginning, but something that slowly started to shape the way she sees things, the way she feels, the way she connects with you. And when someone begins to experience that kind of internal clarity, it changes them. Not in a way that pushes people away, but in a way that makes them more aware, more thoughtful, sometimes even more silent. You may have noticed that silence. Not empty silence, but meaningful silence. The kind that holds something unspoken, something waiting for the right moment. And here's where everything starts to align. That silence wasn't distance. It was reflection. Reflection of something real, something sincere, something that has been growing beneath the surface without needing to be announced. Don't skip this, because this is the turning point. There is a truth that is no longer hidden, not because someone decided to reveal it, but because it has reached a point where it naturally begins to show itself, through presence, through energy, through the way things feel when you're together. And that truth carries a kind of honesty that doesn't need explanation. You're beginning to sense it now, aren't you? That quiet understanding, that subtle clarity, that feeling that something has already been revealed, even if no words were spoken. Stay a little longer. Because what you're feeling is real. There is no confusion here, only a delay in recognizing what has already been present. And once you recognize it, everything shifts. Think about the connection you share. Not just what has been said, but what has been felt over time. The moments that didn't need explanation, the understanding that existed without effort, the bond that felt natural, even in silence. That hasn't changed. What has changed is the awareness of it. And your sister has begun to see it more clearly. Not suddenly, not dramatically, but in a way that slowly brought her to a realization she couldn't ignore anymore. And now, that realization is no longer just hers. It's reaching you. Right here, right now. Let that settle within you. There is nothing complicated about it. No hidden layers meant to confuse you. Just a simple, honest truth, that has taken time to fully form. And now that it has, it's beginning to reflect back toward you, so you can see it too. You might feel a sense of calm right now, mixed with curiosity, like you're standing on the edge of understanding something important, something that was always part of your life, but never fully acknowledged. That feeling is the doorway, and you've already stepped through it. Stay till the end, because what comes next will bring everything together in a way that feels complete, not overwhelming, but clear. There is one final layer, one quiet realization, that will connect every piece you felt so far. And when it reveals itself, you won't feel surprised. You'll feel certain, because deep down, you've known this all along. Just wait, one more moment. Everything is about to make sense. There is a stillness now, a kind of quiet that doesn't feel empty, but full, as if everything you've been sensing is gently settling into place, waiting for you to notice what has already become clear beneath the surface. And if you listen closely, not with your ears, but with that deeper awareness inside you, you'll feel it, something aligning. Not all truths arrive as sudden revelations. Some unfold like a soft light at dawn, slowly revealing what was always there, but hidden in shadow. And this is that kind of moment. You've already felt the shift, not just in your sister, but in yourself. The way your thoughts have slowed down when it comes to her, the way your reactions have softened, the way something within you chose to observe instead of assume. That wasn't accidental. That was preparation. Because the truth that is now coming into full view requires clarity, not impulse. Let this settle for a second. There has been a quiet realization within your sister, something she didn't rush to express, not because it was uncertain, but because it mattered. And when something truly matters, people take time with it. They sit with it, they understand it, they allow it to become real within themselves before they share it with anyone else. You may have mistaken that time for distance, but it wasn't distance. It was depth. Stay with this. Because everything changes once you see the difference. There have been moments, small, almost invisible, where her presence felt different. Not absent, not disconnected, but more aware, more intentional. As if she was seeing you through a clearer lens, noticing things she hadn't fully recognized before. And that awareness has been growing, not for a day, not for a moment, but quietly, over time. Think about the way she has responded recently, the way her tone has shifted, the way certain conversations felt like they were holding something deeper, even when the words remained simple. Those were not ordinary moments. They were reflections. Reflections of something forming inside her, something real. Don't skip this part, because this is where the meaning becomes undeniable. The truth that has been slowly coming to light is not complicated. It's not something that disrupts, or confuses, or creates distance. It's something that clarifies. Something that reveals a deeper understanding of your connection. One that goes beyond surface interactions, beyond everyday conversations, into something more sincere, more aware, more grounded. And here's the part that completes everything. She has begun to recognize the value of what exists between you, not in a temporary way, not influenced by passing emotions, but in a steady, undeniable way that comes from truly seeing someone, truly understanding their presence, their role, their impact. This realization didn't happen all at once. It unfolded, quietly, layer by layer, until it became something she could no longer ignore. And now, it's reaching you, not through a dramatic moment, not through sudden words, but through understanding, through the way things feel now, compared to before. Through the subtle clarity that has replaced uncertainty. Pause here. Because you might feel it now. That quiet certainty. That sense that something has already shifted, and there's no need to question it anymore. You're not searching for answers now. You're recognizing them. And that changes everything. There is no pressure here, no urgency to act, no need to respond immediately. Just awareness. Just allowing this truth to settle naturally within you, without forcing meaning, without creating unnecessary questions. Because when something is real, it doesn't need to be complicated. It simply is. Stay a little longer. Because this is where the story gently completes itself. Not with noise, not with intensity, but with clarity. The connection you share has reached a new level of understanding. Not because something new was created, but because something that already existed has finally been seen for what it truly is. And that kind of realization doesn't fade. It stays. It grounds. It brings a quiet sense of peace, a knowing that nothing was ever misplaced, nothing was ever uncertain. It was simply waiting for the right moment to be understood. And that moment is now. You may notice, from here onward, that things feel lighter, more natural, less complicated, because clarity has a way of removing what was never needed in the first place. And what remains is something honest, something steady, something real. Let this stay with you. Not as something you need to figure out, but as something you've already begun to understand. Because you didn't just hear this. You felt it. And that's why it matters. Now, take a breath. And notice how everything feels, just a little more clear than before. And now, something even quieter begins to unfold, not outside, not in words, but deep within the way you are starting to feel everything differently. It's subtle, almost like a gentle shift in the atmosphere of your thoughts. Where confusion once existed, there is now a soft clarity taking its place. You didn't force this clarity. It arrived. Pause here for a second. Do you notice how nothing feels heavy anymore? The questions that once circled your mind, they're no longer chasing you. Instead, there's a calm awareness, like you've stepped into a space where everything makes sense without needing explanation. That's not coincidence. That's understanding settling in. There was never anything hidden to harm you, never anything meant to create distance. What was unfolding all along was a quiet realization, one that needed time, space, and emotional growth before it could be fully seen. And now, both of you are standing on that understanding, not facing each other with confusion, but with awareness. Stay with this feeling. Because this is the part most people miss, the moment after the truth is revealed. They think the story ends with understanding, but it doesn't. It begins there. Think about it. When something becomes clear, when you finally see the depth of a connection, it changes the way you move forward. It softens reactions, it deepens conversations, it brings a kind of peace that doesn't need to be explained. You may start noticing this soon, if you haven't already. The way interactions feel more natural, more present, less guarded. The way silence feels comfortable, instead of uncertain. The way even simple moments carry more meaning than before. These are not small changes. They are signs that something has aligned. Don't skip this, because something important is waiting for you here. There was a reason this truth took time. Because rushing it would have created misunderstanding, assumptions, unnecessary distance. But now, it has arrived in its complete form. And because of that, it brings clarity instead of confusion. Let this sink in. You didn't lose anything during this time. You gained perspective. You gained awareness. You gained the ability to see beyond surface level moments and understand what truly matters within this connection. And your sister has gone through her own version of that journey. Different path, same destination. Understanding. That's why everything feels balanced now. Not perfect, but real. And real is what lasts. Take a slow breath. There is no urgency anymore. No need to figure things out. No need to question every small detail. Because what needed to come to light already has. And what remains is something steady. Something that doesn't shake easily. Something that continues, quietly, without needing constant attention. You might feel a sense of emotional stillness now, like everything inside you has found its place. That stillness is not emptiness. It's peace. And peace only arrives when something has truly been understood. Stay till the end, because there's one final realization waiting. Something that will bring everything together in the simplest way possible. It's not complex. It's not dramatic. It's just true. Here it is. The connection you share was never uncertain. It was only unseen, in its full depth. And now that you've seen it, even partially, it changes how everything feels. Not because something new was added, but because something real was finally recognized. Let that remain with you. Not as a thought, but as a feeling you carry forward. Because from this moment on, you won't look at this connection the same way again. You'll see it with clarity, with calm, with a quiet understanding that doesn't need to be explained to anyone else. And that is where the story gently settles, not with an ending, but with a deeper beginning that continues, quietly, from here. And yet, just when everything feels settled, something even more refined begins to surface, not to disturb the calm, but to deepen it. It's almost like a second layer of understanding, one that doesn't speak loudly, but gently expands everything you've already realized. Stay here for a moment, don't move past this too quickly. Because what you're feeling right now is not just clarity, it's awareness evolving. There is a quiet shift happening inside you, a shift from simply understanding to truly seeing. Not just seeing the situation, but seeing the connection in its pure form, without assumptions, without past filters, without unnecessary questions. And when that kind of seeing begins, something changes. You stop searching. You stop overthinking. You begin to trust what you feel. Pause. Think about how different this is from before. There was a time when your mind tried to fill in the gaps, tried to understand every small detail, tried to make sense of every pause, every change, every moment that didn't feel fully clear. But now, there are no gaps. Because nothing is missing anymore. What needed to be revealed has already revealed itself in the way that matters most, not through explanations, but through understanding. And that understanding has reached you. Don't skip this, because this is where it becomes even more meaningful. There is a reason why this truth didn't come in words. Because words can be misunderstood. But what you feel right now cannot be mistaken. It's steady, it's calm, it's real, and that's why it stays. You might begin to notice something else now. A gentle shift in how you respond to your sister, not forced, not intentional, but natural. A kind of ease, a softness, a deeper patience that wasn't there before. That's not something you decided. That's something you became. Because when clarity settles within you, your actions naturally align with it. And the same is happening on her side. Not in identical ways, but in connected ways. Two different journeys, quietly meeting at the same understanding. Let that sink in. There is no longer a need to question what this connection means. Because meaning is no longer hidden. It's present. It's felt. It's understood. And here's something even deeper. Sometimes, the most powerful truths are the ones that don't change anything externally, but transform everything internally. Nothing dramatic has happened. No big moment. No sudden words. And yet, everything feels different. Because you see differently now. Stay a little longer. Because this is where the final piece gently comes into view. You may realize that this entire experience wasn't just about understanding your sister. It was about understanding yourself too. Your ability to feel without reacting. Your ability to observe without assuming. Your ability to remain calm, even when things were unclear. That is growth. Quiet growth. Real growth. And now, it's complete. Not in the sense that nothing more will happen, but in the sense that what needed to be realized has been realized. There is nothing left to uncover, only something to carry forward. Take a slow breath. Feel the stillness. Feel the clarity. Feel the absence of confusion. That is where everything has led you. You didn't rush here. You didn't force it. You arrived exactly when you were ready. And because of that, this understanding will stay with you, not as a memory, but as a way of seeing. From this moment on, you will notice things more clearly. You will feel things more deeply. You will understand without needing constant answers. And that is something not everyone reaches. So let this remain gentle. Let this remain natural. Let this remain real. Because the story was never about something hidden being exposed. It was about something true being recognized. And now that you've recognized it, there is nothing more to chase. Only something to quietly live with, from here onward.